Keir Starmer has found himself under intense public scrutiny following a difficult and highly pressurized interview. During the exchange, the Labour leader was pressed hard on one of the most contentious issues facing his government: border security. As the questioning became more direct, Starmer attempted to rely on familiar talking points and deflections. However, this approach quickly came under challenge. The moment played out in full view of the cameras, leaving no room for the Prime Minister to retreat behind pre-prepared sound bites. Instead, viewers were given a rare, unfiltered glimpse into Starmer's difficulty in defending his record, particularly on an issue that continues to generate widespread public concern. In today's video we will have a watch, but first hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Have a watch. Captain Force to GB News. There are warnings from Germany that Russia could invade a NATO ally as soon as in the next 4 years. You haven't even committed to get 3% in the next 9 years. Lord Richard Dannett this morning said that this is simply not going to cut the mustard. You're one of your favorite phrases, going further and faster. Shouldn't you be going further and faster on this now? And linked to that, part of keeping British people safe is border security. You scrapped the Rwanda deterrent you promised to smash the gangs who are clearly running rings around us. Crossings are up 42% this year compared to last. Aren't you failing to keep us safe in the English Channel? Well, let's start with the question of Ukraine, because I think it's fair to say that the UK has been a steadfast ally of Ukraine since the very beginning of this conflict and continues to play a central part, and I'm very proud of the support that we give to Ukraine, and very alert to the continued threat from Russia, whether that's continuing in Ukraine or the wider threat. And as I mentioned in my speech, don't forget that Russia is already menacing our skies and our waters and cyber attacks. So this is a real threat that we are dealing with. I believe that the best way to deter conflict is to prepare for it, which is why we commissioned this report, this review, and why we will now act on this review, going further and faster in what we're doing, which we have already done with pushing up defense spend to 22.5% by 2027. That wasn't in the manifesto of any of the parties going into the election, by the way. That is a commitment we've made since we've been in government. We will keep to, and that is the mindset, but also a mindset change that this must produce the defense dividend in the jobs and the opportunities here in the United Kingdom as we spend more money in relation to border security. I want to be really clear: nobody should be making that journey across the channel, and it's our duty to make sure that we ensure that they don't. We are working very closely with our counterparts in France and elsewhere to take further action in northern France, and of course we are giving enhanced powers to our own law enforcement through the Borders Bill, which is currently going through Parliament. The reason we stood down the Rwanda scheme was because it cost a fortune and only a handful of people went on a voluntary basis to Rwanda, and it didn't deter anybody. I'm not up for gimmicks, I'm up for the hard work of working with partners in enhancing the powers that law enforcement have in my determination to take down the gangs that are running this vile trade. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. In other news, more than 200,000 jobs could be at risk over the next 5 years thanks to the government's inheritance tax rate. New research suggests. A study from CBI Economics commissioned by the lobby group Family Business UK found 28,500 full-time jobs could be lost by April 20,130. As a result of Chancellor Rachel Reeves' sweeping changes to business and agricultural property relief. Research from CBI Economics also found the tax changes would result in a GVA loss of £14.8 billion to the economy. The policy change is expected to raise around £1.8 billion in tax revenue over the next 5 years, but at a net fiscal cost of £1.9 billion. Rachel Reeves introduced the changes to business and agricultural property relief in the autumn budget last year, impacting family-owned businesses and farms across the UK. Changes to BPR and APR in the autumn budget limited 100% relief from inheritance tax to the first 1 million of claims, with a 50% tax rate applied above this threshold. Responding to the research, Shadow Business Secretary Andrew Griffith said Labour's proposals were built on hooky Treasury maths and a blatant breach of election promises. He added, "This survey shows just how little this government understand or care about business in total. Nearly half of family businesses anticipated reducing headcount, with an average decline of 9% in employment. Around 50% expect to pause or cancel planned investments, with a total decrease of 16% in investments. The agriculture sector is expected to see the steepest drop in investment, averaging a 17% decline according to CBI Economics Shadow Business Secretary Andrew Griffith said the impact on family-owned businesses was many times that on farms, describing it as a staggering 200,000 jobs at risk. A Treasury spokesperson said, "Our reforms to agricultural and business property reliefs will mean 3/4 of estates will continue to pay no inheritance tax at all, while the remaining quarter will pay half the inheritance tax that most estates pay, and payments can be spread over 10 years interest-free." The spokesperson described this as a fair and balanced approach which helps fix the public services we all rely on. The Treasury added that capping the rate of corporation tax, reforming planning, establishing a national wealth fund, and creating pension mega funds is part of our plan for change to get Britain building, unlock investment and support business so we can raise living standards and make all parts of the country better off. In conclusion, while the government's inheritance tax reforms are positioned as a means to fund public services and support long-term economic growth, the findings from CBI Economics raise serious questions about their broader impact, with over 200,000 jobs potentially at risk. 14.88 billion pounds in lost economic output and a net fiscal loss projected. The policy appears to carry significant unintended consequences, particularly for the family businesses and agricultural enterprises that form the backbone of local economies. As investment slows and headcounts fall, critics argue the reforms could undermine the very foundations of growth they aim to bolster. Whether the government's fair and balanced approach can withstand such strain remains to be seen, but for many business owners the cost of change may already be too high. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know your thoughts on the inheritance tax issue down in the comments. I look forward to reading what you think. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.